Well, I think the song is ultimately about the process of when a person realizes that they can't atone for all the stuff that they've done. And I think everybody in the world faces that. I always say that people have enough bad news going on in their life. What they need is good news. And I think most people deep down inside, when push comes to shove, know that they fall short as a human being. And I think Deliverer sort of represents a hyper-realized sense of somebody coming to the end of their rope, but then the page gets turned when you realize that all the things that you're sort of on trial for, which is what it sort of alludes to, God's already decided the verdict, which is that he forgives you and he loves you. And I think the experience of that, of being pulled out of that, is something that's extremely liberating, you know. And I think in the Old Testament, when the Israelites looked at how God delivered them out of slavery into freedom, first of all, that was a long process. It was 40 years. It could have been 40 days, but it ended up being 40 years. And I think there's something in that too that's true, that even the process of us being delivered, I think there's things that Jesus delivers us from that's immediate, but then there's other stuff that it takes time. And but I think the more important thing is trying to stay in that space of freedom that comes from knowing you've been saved, and trying to live out of that space, you know, because I think a lot of people end up giving their heart to God, but then a couple of years later, their fears and anxieties about the world around them have crippled them and crippled their faith. And so they're not doing anything wrong, but they're not living life to the fullest. They're not living the life that God meant for them. And so I think that's the real heart behind the song, and the hope that people would experience more freedom.